The maritime environment, by its very nature, is complex. There are many different actors that use the maritime space. There are commercial shipping, there is the undersea cables and undersea pipelines. You have navies working there. You have tourists and recreational users. You have people transiting via ferries and cruise ships. There are folks that are using it for the military value of the maritime space. So you get Coast Guards and you get navies and you get Air Forces all operating at the same time in this area. So this leads to a great deal of complexity in terms of the number of actors, their interests, and the way they use the maritime environment. And so when you're trying to create maritime safety and security, you have to accommodate the interests and the activities of all of these actors in ways that give you the opportunity to understand what's going on out there and prepares you to come up with solutions for how you promote safety and security in that environment. But one of the things about the maritime environment in a place like the Mediterranean is the area we're talking about is so vast, and the number of resources required to bring safety and security and sustained awareness of what's going on is so large that no one country, and sometimes even no group of countries, can solve that. Which suggests that part of the way that it is potentially most valuable to address maritime insecurity is to start ashore, where there are sources of maritime insecurity that start on the landward side. That, for example, would include a lack of governance ashore in areas where there are political or military disputes. It is the challenge of securing the maritime frontier, the maritime boundary, with enough surveillance and enough customs and border control. There are also the challenges associated with the fact that not everybody sees the maritime environment the same way and considers the same behaviors risky or dangerous. And so finding ways to collaboratively approach the issue of maritime security is going to be an important first step in developing approaches to effectively secure that maritime space. There are some real serious security challenges that have a direct impact on U.S. interests and U.S. safety and security, particularly in terms of fighters that are flowing to and from Syria, the transit of illicit weapons into places like Lebanon, the transit of nefarious actors with ill will, terrorists, folks like that coming across undergoverned spaces, perhaps in the Sinai Peninsula. And so we have concerns about these. Plus we have deep commitments to our partnerships with our Mediterranean partners, both on the northern side in terms of NATO, but also in the southern side. We have some major non-NATO allies in the southern Mediterranean. So I think you'll see that the United States has an enduring commitment to the Mediterranean. We've brought more forces into the Mediterranean recently in preparations for potential Syria operations. The US Navy is moving some destroyers forward deployed into Spain so that we can maintain the presence on a more consistent basis. And I think you will see the United States extending the degree to which partner capacity building and capability building is a fundamental tenet of how we approach our interests around the world and in the maritime environment. The international counter-piracy operations off the coast of Somalia were international in their character, but the United States played a key role in making that happen and sustaining that over time. First of all, the United States military, the Navy in particular, but the military generally, has a world-class, unparalleled ability to create architectures for communication, for coordination, and for command and control of forces anywhere around the world. We also have a rich set of agreements on logistics support and sharing fuel, for example, at sea with our NATO partners, with European partners, with Arab and African partners as well. Another thing the United States is able to do is it's able to have convening authority to bring together kinds of folks, kinds of countries, kinds of actors that wouldn't necessarily come together on their own behalf. So, for example, in the counter-piracy mission, we put together something that was called the Shared Domain Awareness Environment, the SHADE, which is where we bring industry, government actors, coalition partners together to talk about the challenges at sea. We worked with the business community to develop best practices and proliferate those. So there are things that the United States can do on a global scale that nobody else can, but we can't solve these problems ourselves. And so that ability to use our strengths and capabilities, offer those in ways that increase the impact and the effectiveness of others, whether it's a coalition partner or whether it's the business community or whether it's local coast guards, is something that the United States is well suited to, and I think we'll get a lot of bang for the buck if we continue to use that as a centerpiece to thinking about how we're going to promote regional cooperation and regional security.